Hello and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast, episode 483. My name's Adam Cook, I'm your host, and I am joined by Chris Hyde. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
I went too low. How are you?
You went too low and then didn't go high.
No.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm up for talking, which is good.
That's very good. Yeah, it's very good. We're not here alone. We have a third person with us this week, not a fourth. This time, hang on, right. Okay, so also welcome to the podcast, Lyle Carr.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, mate. All right.
Happy to be here again. Yup.
Is that just a bottle of wine you're drinking from there?
It's a lovely bottle of wine, yeah.
It
A
looked,
cheeky
for a
rosé.
minute, I thought it was like White Zinfandel or something, but that's the only wine I know. So we're all good though. Everyone's happy to come here and chat about the video of the games, of the video games.
Always.
Games.
Do you know
all those
something?
things.
I've never asked you to this, okay? And I listen. We got to have a bit of banter before the podcast starts. I've never asked you guys this: video games or video games? Is there a space?
Is there a space?
Yes, sorry. I thought I left enough of a pause between.
Well, no. I mean, for Lyle, it's both. It's the same thing, isn't it? He just puts pauses in like cocktail.
Which is it? Out of interest. I mean, the official.
I say video games, but then I talk really quickly anyway. So who
but
knows?
if you were writing, because I know obviously the rule on God is a Geek is that it's video space games.
Yeah. So in my mind, when I'm writing it, it's video games.
Yeah, but if you were just free, if you weren't under the evil
Oh
dictatorship.
no, but I would type video games. I would
Okay.
put a space.
This is where
It
Lyle
looks
comes in.
weird to me as one word.
Yeah, well, it's not
Like,
it's not
because it
cinema
almost
films,
feels-
is it, or
almost
movie
feels
films?
like- Yeah, I almost feel like it would be pronounced differently if it was one word, like videogamies or something. If it was like
That-
it was one word.
Is that something? Say it again. Can you actually say
Videogamies.
video? I can't say it.
Videogamies.
Videogamies. Oh wow. But Lyle, I don't know how you follow that really.
I don't know how I follow that either. I think there should be a space. It's nothing to do with the dictatorship. I think I've always done that. So
That's fine. I mean, it's definitely not me sort of covering for the fact that like we really haven't got an awful lot to talk about this week after taking a week off, because Chris and I have just sort of been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands to the point where I don't even look at my hour count anymore because I finished it, and I have 2 trophies left to get in that game. You'll be all proud to know. Chris, you
very
finished it?
proud.
Yeah?
I have finished it. Well, yeah.
You finished the videogamy?
I finished a videogamy. Yes, I finished
Sounds like
it,
monogamy, and that's
It does a bit.
yeah.
Videogamy.
Video monogamy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Videogamy sounds like
Videometry.
some sort of like
Videometry.
ancient like Greek philosopher. Like
Yes.
the philosopher of video games.
You're going to link
Videogamy.
this to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, right? Somehow?
No, I just like
Oh.
what I said before, and I want to ride the wave for the whole like hour.
Definitely riding it. He's definitely
so-
riding it.
So anyway, Tiny Tina's. Yeah. So credits rolled yesterday
Mm-hmm.
for me last night. I have no idea actually about our count because like a lot of it we've kind of co-opted.
Yeah.
Until you got impatient towards the end and just kind of went as a free spirit and saw the credits without me, so left me to my own
I
devices.
just had a day off and played a game on it. Like,
Yeah, a
fine.
game that we've been. It's like you agree to watch a Netflix series with your partner, and then you just sneak off and
am
watch.
I your
like...
gaming wife? Is this?
Yeah,
Okay,
of course
fair
you are.
enough. Then I do apologise for
Of course you
seeing.
are.
Well,
My
nobody
actual
else.
wife, when she does gaming, just goes on like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like that's like very rarely will we actually play a co-op game. Because we don't like the same. Well, we like the same types of games. In
This
the sense
isn't
that I
counselling,
like...
mate. You don't have to divulge all of this.
This isn't the beginning. This isn't the start of something.
No.
But like, she likes single player, like epic stories. I also like them, but they're single player.
I'd
So when I
argue
wanna
that
play
Tiny
multiplayer-
Tina's Wonderlands is pretty epic in places.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
she-
all right. I tried.
Yeah.
I just
Her first question is always like, yeah, but what's the story? Like, and I'm like, if it's a game where the story just makes no sense, she's like, sounds crap. I'm like,
There
brilliant.
is some stuff right in Wonderlands that's made me want to go and look up a Wikipedia. This is going to sound so dodgy. Shit. I'm in now. But it made
That's
me
what
want to
the
go and look up a
Wikipedia page is.
Wikipedia to see how old Tiny Tina is supposed to be.
Oh God.
And that's not the way that Lyle's taking it, but there's some stuff she says that makes me think she's actually older than what she appears, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But
It's
I
a bit
mean,
like...
especially nearer the end, where there's certain quests that you can get where, like, she refers to a character from a Borderlands game about, like, sending this person love letters and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh. But I didn't actually do that. I didn't go that far to look it up. But the game itself, though, is... I think I said it before, man. I can't believe this is the game that took us away from Elden Ring. Well, I can, because I've played it and enjoyed it, but, like...
Yeah, I think it's a weird thing because, like, we've talked a lot about the whole Borderlands style, and that's definitely true. I just think, like, it is just one of those games, and we'll come on to a bit of a similar game later, but, like, it's one of those games that you're just playing, and it's enjoyable while you're doing it, and it's making you laugh, it's making you smile, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's just good fun. Whereas Elden Ring, I think, is more of it's a different type of kind of experience, isn't it? It's more sort of focused and you have to be on it a little bit, whereas we were having fun at the end because things were almost trivial from a gameplay point of view, because actually some of the best bits of this game sometimes are when they just go, do you know what? Here's a gun that, like, fires breadsticks. Like, here's a pirate peg leg for a sword. Like, what's that? Sorry,
breadsticks that are also grenades.
And grenades.
Important.
Sorry, yeah, breadsticks that are grenades, and or like a poison. You've got a poison laser.
Yeah, poison. Well, it's an Uzi, but an
Uzi that's a laser.
Seems to be a laser.
Poison, and it's just like
it just melts everything, even bosses, within seconds.
Yeah, and. Or like the shotgun that rains arrows from above. And
I got good luck, is what in that game. Like, I don't have good luck generally, but I got some good. Like we talked about this last night. Like, Chris has got some really good guns, but I got the kind of really good fun guns that, like, do weird shit that you sort of expect at the end of Borderlands when you start getting the gold drops that are just like weird. Like he says, a shotgun that rains arrows for some reason. An Uzi that's also somehow a laser, and it just. I think it might be the first time in the Borderlands I've experienced those guns. I've never really had that kind of that weird loot luck. I don't know whether that's because I've spent loads of time putting points into, like, loot drops and stuff. It's I was left. So I don't know if this will be like the last week we talk about it, because there is the Chaos Dungeons sort of post game stuff I want to get into, because I want to platinum it now. I've got 2 left to get. Yeah, but it did leave me. Well, yeah, it did leave me wondering a little bit. What's next? Like, what do they do next? Will they do like? I would assume that at some point Borderlands 4 will be a thing, but this has been successful, and it's been critically successful. I don't know about the sales yet. Would you? Why not? Tiny Tina's Wonderlands 2 could be like a different board, so to speak, the different board game, like not the medieval. They could do anything with it. It's like any tabletop game. You can have the setting anywhere, but keep the game.
Yeah,
and
I'd pounce on it. Yeah, instantly. It doesn't have to be the whole Dungeons and Dragons 2 thing. Like, it doesn't have to be.
I'd argue it probably shouldn't.
No, they because they know exactly that. I mean, if it was, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
and I'll be jumping on DLC and all that sort of stuff when that comes out. And we were, I think whenever you play a game, and when you play it to the completion, like we are and we will, and you then start talking, what could the DLC be? You're having a good time. Like, we were talking about what could that be, and what you were talking about that the other day. I agree. I think probably Borderlands 4 is the next natural, Gearbox release. But
I do own Borderlands 3. Do you own it? I don't know if you've played 3 or not, or if
I've not played 3. I was saying this the other day, wasn't I? I played 1 and 2 and really liked them. I think 3 must just come out at some weird time that I just didn't play it. But I wouldn't be against playing it, because
this is the thing. I'm thinking, do I reinstall that and have another crack at that? But I saw an article, and I can't think who wrote it. I want to say it was Forbes, but I'm not 100% sure. So apologies if I'm not quite in the correct source. I saw it and read it. It was quite a short article, but it was about this guy, obviously a media personality, who had played through the game several times, and it was only like playing through the second time he realised this game's got no vehicles. Because it hasn't. Like Borderlands 1 and 2 and 3, I think 3 has. I'm pretty sure 3 has. You get in, your vehicle and you can go to a catch-a-ride station and drive around, and that's not in this game. This game it kind of swaps that almost for the encounters, the JRPG style, you're in a fight, which you can skip. I mean, there probably should be an option. There probably is, actually, because the game's got quite a lot of accessibility, and it's really weird. I feel so weird talking about this game in such a sort of positive manner, because like obviously there's like the elephant in the room of the CEO of the company or whatever his position is now. But I have to say, like, I can't think of many games recently that have been so kind of diverse. Certainly not in this style of game.
No, absolutely. But also, what I like, and you mentioned this, I think, a couple of weeks ago on the pod, not like overtly diverse.
No, it's normalised.
Does it, and
it's diversity normalised.
Yeah,
it's like saying it doesn't sort of point arrows over people going, "Hey, look, this woman's gay" or something. It's just they just are.
Hey, these are gay skeletal pirates.
That's right. Yeah,
it just does it, and it's like,
about them, actually.
Like, I'll be honest. Like I was doing. Because there is something about skeletons that are kind of almost like gender neutral to a degree. So when you hear voices, quite frankly, I didn't really pick up on it straight away. It was only as you hear more of the dialogue and stuff that you realise what it is. And like you say, the trans character early on as well.
Yes,
again, it's not even. But there's no like little because there could be.
I don't think it's ever mentioned.
Of humor. No,
I don't think it's ever actually outright mentioned.
No, it isn't, and that's what I mean. Like in a game like this, there could be.
You could easily this game. They could be probably shitty about some of the diversity and get away with it because humor. And for those just listening to the audio version, I'm doing inverted commas. Sorry, just to be absolutely clear. I'm not agreeing with it. I was really quite impressed by that, actually. And I feel really conflicted about that, knowing, like I say, the elephant in the room sort of thing. And it's like, but then I guess that I don't want to talk about Hogwarts again, but I guess it does do that thing of where you think about, yes, there's this person here, but clearly the team making the game, kind of on the ground in the battles. Do you know what I mean? Like soldiers do have decency. It was really nice. I don't want to make this a whole podcast about it, but it was really nice to play a game where the diversity that is what we all are, like was normalized in a way that was like, it made me feel like, are we getting there? Are we getting there where someone hasn't got to be like, Arrow, look, we put a cat, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't tokenism, it didn't feel like to me.
No, it didn't feel like it at all.
That's a really, like, I don't know, what a fucking weird game to be, like, what a weird ass game to have this feeling from, but it was really one of those moments where it was like, I mean, we're not. Well, I'll just be honest. We're not getting there, but it's a step in the, you know what I mean, a positive step. We're not getting there, but you only have to go out your front door to know we're not getting there. But like, it's a positive step, and it was like, I almost wish it wasn't, because I can't find anything to fucking complain about this game. Not a thing. It's got some bugs, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is there are bugs in this game, like, and it is little things, and it's frustrating things like like little menu pop-ups that will stay on screen when they should have gone away. It's little things like that. But what I will say is the amount of times we've gone, oh, have you quit out and rejoined already? I'm like, yeah. The good thing is, if that ever does happen, the fix is relatively quick and the online's relatively smooth and everything else. So it doesn't, because quite frankly, if this game was full of bugs and they were significantly detracted from the experience, we would have parked this a long time ago. Like, it's almost like, oh, okay, I just got to go and jump out because of that, and we're like, okay, fair enough, and you just back in within seconds. So
I mean, I would. This may be a bold statement. It'd be interesting because I know Lyle, like you're a big co-op fan. Like, in fact, the three of us
Yeah.
are probably the big co-op guys of the site. Like we all, it's my favorite game mode. Like I will always play a bit of multiplayer, but co-op for me, I feel like any game. Let's say 99% of games can be improved by having someone you like playing with you. And so I actually think, look, if you hate shooters. Keep walking.
Well,
I mean, there's no way around the fact that this is a first-person shooter. Yeah, like there's no way round that. If you hate first-person shooters, however, I will say I've been thinking about this we've been playing it 2-3 weeks. More than that, I think. I think in terms of the mechanical aspects of what a co-op game should be, like the nuts and bolts of how co-op works in a game. I think this might be the best I've ever played.
I mentioned this. I said something similar. I said something. I gave a nod to you. I want to say last week when we were playing it. You know, we have a best multiplayer category at the end of the year. We do, and we probably will still be there this year. I'm sure.
Hope so.
And you know, I think. You know, sometimes when you have that category, sometimes you have the argument about is it the best game that just happens to have a multiplayer, or is it the best example of a multiplayer? And this is a very good example of them. There's lots of reasons why this game is a good example of a multiplayer.
They have thought about all the reasons, all the things that could come up, and gone solve that before it ships.
Exactly that. It's not the type of game where co-op it's a single player game that has had a multiplayer thing added on just as if it's multiplayer more people might like it kind of thing, like as a design principle. This is like, no, how can this game work as a single player game but also equally work, if not work better, as a multiplayer game? You know, we moan about the whole, it's not just Far Cry that does it, but we moan about the Far Cry thing where progress doesn't carry over and all that sort of stuff. Like, all of that stuff is just so good. The speed with which you can move in and out of people's games, the ease with which you move with people when they fast travel, and you kind of, it's so simple. The thing is that a lot of it you don't think about, but that's why it's so good, because it's so intuitive about and so slick. And I think that's why, not that you know, as people that critique games, we don't ignore the bugs, but when you're playing it and you're experiencing it and you're enjoying it, if those bugs are so minor that actually they're not detracted from the experience because everything else is so well built, almost like combat, like the rejoining quickly and all that sort of stuff, that does matter. Because if it was an absolute ball ache to rejoin and you had that thing stuck on your menu, we'd probably have. There's been a couple of nights we've got, do you know what? We'll call it a night.
Can't be asked with this,
Whereas actually we carry on playing for another 3/4 of an hour because it's so simple to rejoin. So no, I completely agree with you, and I said it to you before. You know, we had I won't start listing games. We had games we thought this is going to be a really strong contender for multiplayer at the end of the year, and then this one, I think is another one. And for me, it's near the top, or I won't say exactly where, for me. So yeah, I think it is. And then when you start making statements like, "Is it the best ever?" Again, no. But in terms of the mechanics of what it's doing,
I can't think of any moment I play, and we've played a lot of co-op of that game, a lot of co-op. I'm well over 30 hours of it, and I reckon 24 of that. You know, so it's a whole day of my life I've been co-op with you, if not damn close.
What a lovely day!
I know, what a wonderful game. But like, there's not a single point I can remember thinking it's a bit of a shame they didn't do that. Whereas, like, when I remember playing like Far Cry. I always go back to Far Cry, right? Because, and I don't want to. I like Far Cry, by the way. I like the series, but I always go back to it because I feel like with the team size, the budget, the kind of spectacle of it being Far Cry, they should nail that stuff when they say, "Oh, campaign co-op," and it's like. And I remember playing that. Normally, it was with Chris White. This time, it was with you. And I remember we played a bit. You went back to your world, and we had literally got in a boat and gone from one island to another, which was a big story progression early on. And when you went back to your world, you were back where you were when you first joined me. All those missions run done essentially at the start of the game outside of the tutorial. Yeah. Whereas in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, when you quit out, or I quit out, and if one of you carries on playing, you're pretty much in the same place where you were when you quit out, only you're back in your world, in your save, with everything you've done, all done. It's all completely progression's done.
It's so good. Like it's like the collectible stuff. Like it's so simple. It sounds so simple, but you just pull it. So like if either of us find something in your world, we've both now got it on our checklist. Both of us. Yep.
So and if I'm in your world and I have got it, but you haven't, I'll see it again because I'm on your save, so I can still get it again. Or go, here it is, and it will check it off on your checklist. That's phenomenal.
And then doesn't appear on yours, so then we know, I must have already got that.
So I've got that one, but you didn't.
Yeah, and it's stupidly simple.
Yep.
It's stupidly simple, but it's just so, like you say, it's just one of those things where therefore you don't think about it, and you're not thinking about a negative, so you're just enjoying the moment, which is, very good game.
Very good game.
And I hope people give it a chance.
Yeah, I think in terms of what I've seen and heard from you guys for a few weeks now, and seen from just the reception, people in the God is Geek Discord and stuff like that, it seems so well received. I'm not normally a Borderlands person, but I've kind of got to the point where I'm now thinking me and my partner, we have to play it.
You kind of can't ignore it any longer.
Yeah. We played a bit of the first Borderlands together, and he wasn't really into like some of the spongy enemies, and I think the setting as well, like the desert setting, like color is a big thing for like, beautiful open worlds and stuff like that is usually what he's into. So I think I decided to show him a trailer last night when we were thinking of something to play, and he liked the look of it, and I'm pretty excited that at some point soon, I'm going to make sure that we get to play it.
Do you know, it's funny you say that, is that this podcast, by the way, is not going to be entirely about Wonderlands. We will move on, but before we do, it's worth saying what Lyle said there is kind of a good point. It is actually, and I think 3 was a bit more like that. I totally get what you mean about the kind of brown desert, whereas this is, I think, overall more colourful than, I think the fantasy setting alone, you've got wyverns that are red and green, whereas you kind of had, what was it before? Was it scavs? I can't remember what they were called, the enemies in Borderlands. This is properly like, I love the Borderlands series actually, and it's kind of properly like shoved it out one side and like, filled me full of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Not Dogfish, I know that.
No, Dogfish. Chris, what else have you been playing? As if a review didn't literally go on the site a few hours ago as we record.
So I have had the pleasure to play Nobody Saves the World on Switch.
Is this it was time travel? I don't understand.
What's that?
Time travel? Like we stuck in time or something?
We've already talked about this game.
This game's been out since January, right?
Yeah, so January the 18th, this game came out on PC and Xbox, and now it's out on PlayStation and Switch. Day of recording today. If you're watching this later, it's already out. Been out for a few days. So, so I reviewed this game back in January. Feels like a lifetime ago.
Does, man.
Middle of January it came out. Gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It's a fantastic game. Everyone should go and play that if you've not already played it. From the same from Drinkbox Studios, same people that made the Guacamelee series. And then got to play it on Switch. Now there's a theme in my Switch review where I kind of play on the whole perfect for Switch thing, but there is a reason for it. And I remember, Adam, me and you, we were co-op in this originally on PC back in December, actually. Before,
it was December, yeah.
Had a long old time with it, which was great to really delve into it before the release. And we were even saying then, could you imagine if this came to the Switch? Like even back then, we were saying, this would be great on the Switch. And then it comes to the Switch, and you're like, here we go. And it just feels like a really, it just feels like a really good match, that console and this game. Firstly, the the look of the game is very much, it's not photorealistic graphics.
I love the art of this game.
I
like Guacamelee as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a fluke,
It's not, and it's not to say like that it's like basic. Like
No.
the lighting and stuff is lovely, and the design of the levels and stuff, it's all detailed and stuff. It's just not like photorealism, like graphical fidelity, like I don't know, so like Horizon or something like that. And so when you put something like with a kind of like cel shaded, cartoony type stylized visual aesthetic onto Switch, it can cope with it. So what you put something like this game on Switch and it runs fine. Like it runs absolutely fine. That either in solo, we played it online co-op, and it runs absolutely fine. So
do you know what though? Didn't Guacamelee, the original, didn't that come to Vita or the second one? I'm sure one of them was on Vita, so they've got experience with like putting a game. I mean, I like the developer. I don't think they would put out a game that ran badly. And...
No. There is that. I'm the same. I mean, when I first heard about this game, I was like, oh, excited about this one because the Guacamelee games are brilliant. It runs well. The only really slight, and it's really slight complaint I mentioned in the review is that the load times are ever so slightly longer on Switch, and that is literally splitting hairs.
I had some video footage that you'd provided from the original review.
Yeah,
and I nearly put them just to see, and then I stopped myself, and I was like, "We're not that site. Like, not being funny. The Digital Foundries of the world. That's what they do. It's their raison d'être. But like for us." I didn't seem a fit, and also I literally dragged the footage into my software and I started and I was like, I don't care.
No,
I was like, I don't care. If it was a minute of loading, I would go, yeah, we can show that we can get some clips out of this. We can put loads of fucking videos up about how crap it is. That's my impression of someone, an influencer, I guess. But I was just like, why am I doing this? Like it's it's a second or two, perhaps.
I would even argue in some total. You mean?
I mean like maybe a second longer than the PC version. And my PC's on an SSD, so it's pretty. The Switch certainly isn't.
And it really isn't long enough for you to care. That's the other point. Like it was more just trying to be balanced, I guess. In a sense, it is actually it does feel slightly longer, but
technically an inferior port.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Technically, but look, this game essentially is as good on Switch as it is on the other platforms. And if you have not played it yet, you absolutely need to.
Seriously, play it.
What's that?
Just play it.
Yeah,
play it, everybody.
It is great, and there's plenty of content in there. There's even a new game plus, which has got a load of good good ideas as well. There's plenty to get stuck into.
Mm-hmm.
It's good humor, decent adventure. You'll enjoy it. Just do it, and the co-op in that is good as well. Like,
it's not quite. I wouldn't say it's quite on the level that Wonderlands is, but it's very much. It still shows up something like a Far Cry. It still like goes look.
Yeah, there's not the as much of the like. It's very much drop in and play to support the person that you're in. Yeah,
you're using their world sort of thing, but
their world. But it just it's such a. I think it's a very well designed game. There's lots to it, lots to get your teeth into. It's just a load of fun, and it's a bit like I have very similar feelings to it, like I had with Tiny Tina. Like that game just made me smile, and Nobody Saves the World just makes me smile. It's just one of those. I'm having fun playing a game and I'm smiling and not bellyache laughing, but tittering a little bit to the humour in the same way that I'll do a bit of a chuckle with some of the Tiny Tina lines. Not to bring this back to Tiny Tina again, but it's very similar in that sense of humour that it's got. So everyone that was thinking about it, go and play it. Like, it's literally on all the platforms you'd want now. Just go and play it.
And if you get stuck or need any help with any of the quest lines or any of the collectibles, go to godisageek.com and you'll find just look it up on Google. It's the quickest way. Like God is a Geek, Nobody Saves the World guide, and you will find pretty much the whole game. guided there. And before
it's so guided.
A love affair with that game. So go and check that out. There's plenty there. It's like a companion site for the game if you would like that to help you out and give you all the information you need.
Before we move on, though, actually, I just wanted to mention, literally got an email through. I hadn't realised these were all out this week, but like the Switch has had a hell of a week when it comes to sort of games that are like a little bit different. I mean, none of these are brand new. Like Nobody Saves the World is obviously out today, as we know, and on PS4. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, which we didn't get code for some reason. But that's a cracking game. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't played that, and I'm
really good.
That feels like, I want to...
Again, I look back to my time on that and think, because I never finished that, but I think to myself, I think I would have if it was on Switch. It's the Persona 5 thing.
That's a meaty one, right?
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a hefty game. Another one that is probably pretty hefty in terms of time that's also been this week is Don't Starve. Together came to Switch as well, and that's a great game. And again, I'm actually wondering. The email I've got doesn't specify, but like I'm wondering because that obviously the reason it's called Don't Starve Together is because they eventually added co-op to it, which I actually never played. My son has, but I am wondering because I know on Xbox the co-op is online, and I'm now wondering if the Switch version, I would presume it is, because why would they not? Why would they take something out? But that's a cracking week for
not bad
for Switch.
Also, Bug Snacks soon, isn't it?
Bug Snacks, indeed, with the DLC, Big Snacks.
Big Snacks. In case you think you're typoing it anywhere.
Just in case, doesn't matter. So if you got your SEO wrong all those years ago. Just before we move on to what Lyle's been up to this week, I also want to point out that if you're listening to us for the first time, thank you, first of all, but also patreon.com. We have a Patreon. I know everyone. I know. Ours has been going a long, long time, and it directly supports the people on this podcast and this podcast itself. And you get, we do code drops. There's a brand new podcast starting soon. Lyle, don't smirk.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're hoping to bring back another podcast. Did you hear it? It's a clue. The clues have actually been there. I dropped a clue in about what that podcast was back in January. But yeah, we've got stuff coming up. There's a message on there from myself that I know we've been a little bit lax on it lately, and I'm always happy to be held accountable for that. But yeah, patreon.com/GodIsGeek. And if as low as £1 or $1, wherever you're from, the equivalent of, supports us for what we do, and hopefully gets you some access to some cool stuff. But actually, I think more importantly than that, gets you access to our Discord, where we have got such a wonderful community sort of building up, like genuinely people I would call friends, lovely people, and you get to interact with them as well. And maybe if we make it really massive, it will become horrible and everyone will be hating on each other because the opinions will start to clash. But I don't think so, because when you see the thread that Lyle's got going, I don't think opinions clashing is really a problem in our Discord.
No, I think we've proven that
we've proven that politics can be different.
We're at peak hatred and we're still nice to each other. So I think it's fine. I don't think it can.
What we're saying is that we could, if given the chance, run the world and it would be all okay, right?
And everyone would love each other. It'd be great.
On the surface. But imagine that's your advert. That's your advert for the podcast. Like imagine an advert just came up and patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. And also, just because I will say it at the end, but I'll say it again, subscribe if you're enjoying this live. If you're watching it later, listening to it later, give us a follow or whatever. Lyle, what have you been up to?
Well, I have been playing. I mean, maybe I was playing a week ago, but we took a week off, and I want to make sure that we get to talk about Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition, which I absolutely love.
Could you give us some background on what it is? Because I'll be honest, massive JRPG fan all through my youth. Somehow, the Chrono series is the one that just got away. Until I was older, I just never played them. So explain to me what this is in terms of that series, if that makes sense. Please,
so Chrono Trigger was this Super Nintendo RPG that's really beloved, really innovative. Probably, maybe the best RPG on that system would be my personal statement about Chrono Trigger. Chrono Cross is... So I guess it's the next game in the series, but realistically, it's not particularly tied to there's connections to Chrono Trigger, but it's not really properly related. It's not like it's a sequel. It's just like it's the next game in the series, and it has some ties to it, but it's a totally new game. It never came to Europe. So Chrono Cross, back when it released in 1999, it didn't come across to Europe. It came to the US, and it obviously it was released in Japan.
There will be probably people listening to this
who
don't remember a time where that happened.
Yeah,
like
totally.
When games
I think
would come out, but not here. They'd come out in Japan. They'd come out in North America.
Totally. It was.
So this is just to be clear, this is the first time it's properly.
It is
out. Yeah,
the first time that it's properly available here. You could, with a US account, buy it as a PS1 classic and play it on the PS3 or the Vita. That was an option. That's something I did, but I didn't. I played maybe like 20 minutes, and had 100 Vita games that I wanted to play.
That would be the original, not
the original, not this.
Yeah.
Not this version, but this version is. There's not. I mean, realistically, I reviewed when I reviewed it, I gave it a very high score. I gave it a 9.5. But the actual I reviewed it as sort of a new game, because to our region it's a new game. I wasn't really like obviously I talked about what it does as a remake, but realistically I was covering it as a game, and I personally think that Chrono Cross is probably my favorite PS1 RPG now. I think of all the fantastic, I think that's a console that probably is maybe most beloved for the JRPGs.
It never sunk in what you said, because you texted me that, and it never sunk in what you said until you said it. No, but with sometimes conversation when you actually speak. This is why I don't like texts and Twitter and all that. Because sometimes when you speak to people, you hear them more. It never sunk in what you said, and it just did. Just as you said that, I was like, wait, he's saying it's the best PlayStation 1 JRPG.
I am.
That is some fucking statement, that is.
It's a huge statement, but it's a fantastic game. So it's basically, it's a JRPG. It's set across two different worlds, and one world is the world you were born in, just the world as you know it, and the other world is like a different dimension where basically your character died as a child, and different things are happening in that world because of it, and it's sort of it's another dimension. And there's parts where you sort of you flip between worlds to do different things. You'll maybe in one world, there's a very early part of the game where a member of your party has been poisoned by this really deadly poison. So you and the only way to heal them is from a part of a mythical creature that in the world you're currently in, has gone extinct, but in the other world it's still alive. So you switch across, you get it, you save her. And I mean, there's so much I love about this JRPG, obviously. There's the combat system's really, really fun. It's sort of it has a sort of when you attack, there's sort of a percentage chance system where you pick if you want to go for a definitely going to hit lighter attack or a heavier attack with a lower percentage to hit. There's you equip different elements, which are how you basically you do the most damage. They're kind of like your spells, but you can only use each one once a battle. So you kind of have to really think about how you're going to build each character. And I think, to be honest, what really sets it apart is, I mean, I'm not going to go into the story. I can't spoil the story, but anyone who loves a good classic JRPG will probably know that their favorites have these stories that have just captivated them from start to finish. And I'd say Chrono Cross did that. Another thing it does really well, actually, is there's over 40 characters in the game.
I was going to say, isn't there a shed load of characters?
Yeah. So basically, you'll pretty much constantly just meet new characters who will join you. There are a lot of situations where you could it's not a matter of collecting all the characters. There are plenty that you will almost definitely have to miss. It's just there's early on, you're trying to break into somewhere, and there's sort of 3 different routes you can take to do it, and it just depends on who you've talked to, and that will be your third party member, and they'll probably be with you for they'll be with you for a lot of the game, but you could just pick one of them, and the other 2 characters, you're not going to meet them, or you're not going to meet them for a long time potentially.
I was going to ask about that, because because I know what I'm like. So this is why I asked the question. Like, so is it like you're often like choosing? Have you ever got like a party where you've got like 10 characters to choose from, and you can only have like 4, or is it like the characters 3? Okay, so the characters like, or is it more that the characters come in and out of the story, so you're not having to pick all the time? Like,
no, you have to pick. You're gonna have loads of characters, and you're gonna have to pick.
And do only 3 of them level up?
And I think so. I mean, I didn't really switch characters that often because I had the ones I liked, and when I got a new one,
which is what I would do, and then worry that I'd miss out something. So that's why I was asking. Like, but interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So in terms of this as a remake, there's like a few updated graphical things, nothing particularly huge. It's more just sort of like HD character models and crisper text and stuff like that. Like, it's not hugely updated. Like, it doesn't look like a modern RPG by any stretch of the imagination.
See, I'm a bad person, I think, because I was when you were reviewing this and you were telling me about it, I was like, oh god. I was like, I was well into it, and then I was like, I know so little about it, so I put a trailer on, and I was like, and then what you've just said is exactly how I would have described it. Like, it's a remaster, I'm sure, because it's like in, it's HD sort of thing in terms of resolution, but it looks like a PlayStation game.
It does. It looks like a PlayStation game. There's no getting around that. No. If in this day and age you don't want to play a game that looks like a PlayStation game, it's not the game for you, and that's unfortunate.
Like, I like retro. Well, that's what we are now, isn't it? Like, we were talking about that game earlier, weren't we? Like Astral
Ascent.
Yes, we were talking about that, and like that looks phenomenal. I mean, in terms of the gameplay, but the actual look, and I'm well into that. But that is like kind of like a modern game looking like an old game, but they didn't really look like that, did they? Whereas this,
no,
I haven't got any footage to put for the video version of this game, of this podcast, but like, it does look like a PlayStation 1 game.
It does. It looks like a PlayStation 1 game. Unfortunately, as well, it doesn't run that well, and that's not just a Switch problem, from what I'm aware of. It basically, like, the frame rate sort of isn't great and is a bit up and down almost no matter what, and I'm not really sure how it's quite so much of an issue. And obviously it's a JRPG, so it's not going to affect, the gameplay. It's turn-based. It's like, but it's something you'll notice, and it's something that, like, in a remake of a game from 1999 really does feel like not okay. I mean, with how much I love this game, and calling it the best RPG on a system of amazing RPGs, like, if this had run really, really well, it would have been a 10 from me. It would have been, but you can't do that when a game runs,
that's a significant,
quite that badly. Yeah. It is significant, and like, it'll depend how much it bothers you. Like, I still absolutely love the game, obviously, so it didn't ruin anything for me too much, but it was always there. Also, you can fast forward. You can speed up battles. That's always appreciated in, this sort of remake. It's a genre that's going to take a lot of time, and holding a button that makes everything go twice as fast when you're in an encounter, not a random encounter. There are no random encounters.
No, I saw that. That was the other thing. Was like, actually, maybe I'm back it now. And then I saw the visuals again.
Yeah, so it's close. The other thing they added was a text adventure that's for, I can't remember the console. It's a console I basically don't know about. Some sort of weird console add-on or something. But it's a text adventure that involves some of the characters from the game, essentially, but isn't really properly related. It's hard to say without necessarily spoiling things, but it's its own thing, and if you think of a text adventure as maybe one of the most dated genres you could imagine, it feels like that pretty much. Like, you'll read a screen of text and it'll say, like, do you want to go left down this corridor or right down this corridor?
That's Zork.
It is. And if you pick whichever one you want to, and you'll read the text of, like, oh, you've arrived in a hallway. There's a chandelier hanging above, and there are torches on either side of the room, and you'll do everything in that room. Maybe there won't be anything much to do. You'll turn back, and then it'll be like, in this direction is the way you came, or this direction is the other fork in the road. And it's like every step of the way you'll have to pick. And then alongside that, you'll have to remember, like, you're walking around this castle that is essentially you only know from what is written down on the screen. There's barely there's blurry pictures in the background at a push. And
you got to get your graph paper out.
You do. Well, you have to. If you've gone down a particularly lengthy sequence of turns down dark corridors, and you get someone, and you're like, oh, that's a key. That's a key to that room. That room in the tower upstairs. How do I get there? I have no idea. It's going to be 10 different text choices away, and if you don't know each one, then you're going to be wandering around lost for a while. And it's not bad. I enjoyed it. I played it to an ending. I think it has a few of them, but I mean, you have to be a certain type of dedicated to a game.
I think as well, it's of its time. Like I said about that. I was only half joking about the graph paper. Literally, to get through those types of games, you literally had to do that sort of stuff.
It's of its time and its place, because the Satellaview was only released in Japan, to my knowledge, and it was basically so you could download comics and stuff, and I mean, obviously this was a game, but I mean, it sounds like it's kind of not. It's basically satellite broadcasts, hence the Satella.
Yeah,
there's a peripheral for the SNES, which is how you say it. Just so you know, if anyone's watching, it's not the SNES or the SNES or the Super NES. It's the SNES, right?
It's the SNES. Yep, it is.
Okay, glad we all agree. And so it kind of not only is it of its time. I had mates that imported some weird stuff like disk drives for the SNES. This was not in our. Do you know what I mean? This was not. This wasn't in our minds whatsoever.
I mean, if you love this game, you'll be happy that you have this complete extra little side game that is completely obscure, and there's been no way of even remotely thinking about playing in this day and age. It's nice to have it as part of a package, but if you're like counting it as part of the value proposition is it's not worth it. It's not worth thinking about if you're thinking if you've played this game before, or
if you're excited
imported it or whatever. Yeah. Don't be giddy for the text adventure that comes with it, because no,
that's right. Well, before we move on to listener correspondence, that obviously Chris Hyde is going to handle, because I haven't forgotten. I bet he thought, he's going to have forgotten and shown himself up to be a right prick.
I'm this.
Okay, that's right, as long as you're ready.
Before we forget,
there's been some live correspondence as we do record this to tape, but also live for YouTube, and there's been a lot of chat. And you'll only know this if you're watching the video podcast on youtube.com/GodIsGeek, that Lyle's got a Bulbasaur Pokemon shirt. There's been a lot of chat about that. And I just thought I'd offer this. If we can get our Patreons up by 5 more people, which is not a lot, by the end of... Where are we now? Are we in April or May? We're in April,
yeah.
By mid-May, end of May, we'll use that money to buy Lyle another Pokemon shirt. How does that sound? Lyle, would you be up for that?
Oh my god, I'd love that. I've been thinking a lot about how I need to buy more shirts that are amazing.
And we'll commit to making sure, now, that he's got just enough buttons undone to show you, but not quite show you.
So
that's intentional.
So I've heard this mentioned as well. Now, I often wear T-shirts. Again, this is a very video thing. Do you not wear them? Because I wear my shirts the same way Lyle does. You want to show a little bit, but not all of them.
Oh, yeah, no,
I'm not having a go.
No, but I feel like the way that the fact that it's mentioned suggests to me that people mentioning it are right up. School shirt.
Okay, so it depends on the shirt, right? Obviously, if I'm wearing a business shirt, I'm wearing it almost every button.
No, of course. But if you're wearing, I could never get away with. Well, they're saying that I've only ever known Lyle to wear this kind of clobber, so it's maybe that's in my head why it works, but I don't think I could pull that off. But if I was wearing that, I'd 100%. I used to, when I was, walking around in the sun a lot for a job, you'd see too much sometimes, and I'm a big guy, and that's, unfortunately, you get hot, and you'd see too much. But yeah, if Lyle's up for that, we will absolutely use the Patreon bucks to buy a
yeah, that sounds great. Seems like something that I will definitely be pushing. Yes. Hey, everybody I know, be a patron.
Only £1. It won't pay for it. It won't pay for it with 5 people back in for £1, but that's fine. It's funny that Lyle mentioned as another thing. I realised this after we went to video, is that I'm suddenly acutely aware of how many clothes I wear in terms of how, you know what I mean? So you're suddenly aware of did I wear this shirt last week? I think I did wear this shirt last week. Oh shit! Oh well. It's if I just wear different combinations, you know what I mean? I'd never really cared, because in a podcast you can't see it. or but you can now.
You can now.
Phil Tyndall saying he'd love it to be a Snorlax shirt. That must exist.
Surely.
The blues,
Everyone loves
similar
Snorlax.
style blues and whites. That must exist.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Is that like? I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble. Is that officially like a Pokemon?
No, it was on. I think it was on. Was it on Etsy maybe or something? It's some sort of fan design.
Still legit. It's not legal.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But absolutely, Phil. Tell your friends. Let's make it happen.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's get some.
Yeah.
And on that note, Chris, over to you, mate. Listener correspondence time. I'll get the jingles. It's on the way, but it's going to take a while.
Can my name be in the jingle? Like Chris Hyde, listener correspondence, or something like that. I don't know. As a starter for 10. A bit like the Harry Hill TV
just cut that
thing.
apart now.
I think I might have just talked over the first bit. If you can give us a clean version, I'm sure someone could dub it.
Chris Hyde, listener correspondence.
There you go. You better start it now.
Yeah, I said. So we've got some questions now. The first one is a bit weird because they're a little bit self-indulgent because it's from Lyle to Lyle.
I didn't do anything.
So this is a question from Mr. Lyle Carr that says, "Hi Lyle, long-time listener. I've been wondering how you became such an icon. I hope one day I too can, as Rihanna said, shine bright like a diamond, as you so clearly do." So, Lyle, if you could answer the question from yourself, how did you become such an icon?
This is tricky. Now, I thought this question was written from somebody called not Lyle, someone else, personally.
Definitely
but
wasn't.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, I'd say, firstly, the facial hair does.
It's got to be beard first. Point one.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
Point one.
Perseverance.
Surely.
There's definitely some perseverance.
Point one.
Sexual dynamism. Raw power.
Yeah. All these things, and the shirts. The shirts are a really big part of it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
But
if you try your hardest to irritate enough people while wearing great clothes and having good facial hair, you too can be like me. Completely random
just the clothes
person
I need.
who asked the
It's
question.
just the clothes that we need, Chris.
It's
just the clothes. Yeah. We're falling short.
Because I have bad opinions and a bit of a beard. So what I need really is just
It's just the clobber.
Just a Luigi shirt with a bit of nipple showing, and I'm there.
Sorry, just picturing that. Sorry,
no,
I was just picturing that for a minute
save
there.
that one
No, it was just I was just lost a little bit there. My gaming husband.
Okay, so the next question is from McPoo. I should come to. Actually, I've got to come to Lyle first because he is the Pokemon expert clearly today. So, Lyle, which Pokemon do you think would make the best meals? This could get quite grim. So that's why I want to start with you.
I had a little think about this because there are plenty of Pokemon like bird Pokemon that that will probably taste a bit like chicken or duck. Like, it's not exciting. So if I was going to eat one Pokemon, it might not taste the best, but it would be the best for me. I'd eat a Machop because in this world, I'm not going to be able to eat human. Probably, I probably won't ever.
I mean, it's probably frowned upon. Yes, no, I'd
say
go
it's
in to say.
Hang on, where is he going with? Why would you want?
I think what he's saying is, if we're allowed to eat Pokemon,
yes,
and he's currently saying in current society, it's frowned upon to socially be a cannibal. So in this reality,
which by the way, I think I speak for all of God is Geek. We're behind that being.
To be really clear, we're not pro cannibalism.
No, but it sounds the way I took what Lyle just said was that unfortunately he can't eat human flesh now.
I think what he's saying is bucket list.
Like, it's something I'll never get to do. So if the next closest thing that I'll be able to eating and just seeing what human flesh is like as a fun experiment is.
Okay, no, so you are saying what I thought you were saying. That's fine. I just want to be absolutely clear.
Is at this point where I wonder if the Luigi shirt is enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. It's nowhere near enough. If you're not going to come out as being...
I didn't think about that, actually, no.
I mean, fuck. I just... fuck.
But it's just another animal if it's a Pokemon, so it's sort of allowed, right?
It's just only a pretend human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
Do you want me to follow that?
I mean, I was just going to say something like I don't know, Goldine and chips or something. Like I hadn't really thought about it. I was just like, right, fish and chips, that'll sort me out. Or
nice.
like,
like I said, like bird.
roast side duck or something, crispy side duck. Pancake.
I just look. I'm not being funny. I don't want. I just feel like you could have said everything you just said, Lyle. But you could have said it about like a monkey. I'm never probably going to get to eat. At least somewhere in the world, it is socially acceptable to eat monkeys.
Yeah,
I don't think
there.
anywhere it's socially acceptable to eat humans. And I just,
there's not many places it is. No,
not outside of kind of unforgotten tribes. That do you know what I mean? I did think about this.
Yeah.
And somehow I skipped the fact that there were basically chickens and fish and pigs and cows.
Yeah.
Forgot all about that. And thought...
What is it? What? Or whatever.
Milk tank is a cow, isn't it? I could have just easily gone for one of them. And instead, I thought, well, actually, no, it'd be Pikachu because that would make the most children cry. and
then Lyle went, here we go.
And then he just totally sandbagged me from the sides, both sides, and destroyed me. And so I'm just going to say, I quite like a bitch. I mean,
sorry, I'm just laughing. Mick Fraser.
Yeah, no,
the beloved Mick Fraser is in the chat, and he's just put in a Lyle quote in the chat that says, "I'll never get to see the Grand Canyon or eat human flesh." Lyle, 14th of April 2022.
I think we move on because we've all answered and it can't get any better.
Okay, so next question is from G Team Hyde Steve. He says, "Hi everyone. If you went on Mastermind, which game or series would be your specialist subject? Give us an example of your expert knowledge. Love you, bye." So I'll come to Adam first because he looks the most perplexed at the possibility of me coming to him.
I didn't read the second part of the question. He wants
an example.
Yeah. I suppose it probably would be more retro stuff. I generally would probably say actually I would be better at more of a general knowledge of games because both age, experience, I've kind of played at most things that matter. Not everything, that matter in the grand scheme. But I don't know what would be my. I mean, I used to play a lot of FIFA, and we know that that's the hardcore gamer's choice. Street Fighter maybe, but then again, the trouble is with some of the older stuff, like Street Fighter 2, is that my memory is getting a bit like hazy with some of that because there's only so much.
I mean, I've had to pick a game because I daren't say a series because I think there's just too much lore.
So you could genuinely go this game.
I had a think, and there's a game I'd probably have a fair bash at that, so to speak. I reckon I know a lot of Link to the Past on SNES. I reckon I know a lot of answers to a lot of questions about that game.
Link's Awakening I might be able to match because I remember when reviewing what was the remaster called? Was it called something? I've actually got a copy behind me.
No, it's just Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. Again, like I remember when I played that, it was like because it's a 1-to-1, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same.
And it was like, oh god, transported, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Link Between Worlds and Link's Awakening are both. Yeah, that's a.
I know far too much about that in terms of where stuff is and all that sort of stuff.
But those two have also kind of smashed together a bit as well for me until I played the remake. They had mashed a little bit together because there's like there's the rocky bit up the top and you know what I mean. Fair play. Yeah.
So that would be mine. I couldn't say the whole Zelda series because Christ, there's so much lore and stuff going on in that.
Well, the first two alone, like you need this graph paper stuff again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lyle?
My answer's a bit out of left field. Who'd have thought it? But for some reason, and I can't help but keep coming back to this, and I also kind of think it helps that it's not some like sprawling 20-hour game. But I think I'd be really good at a specialist subject at Snowboard Kids, the Nintendo 64 snowboarding sort of kart racer. Like I played so much of that game growing up. I can tell you the exact score amounts of each trick right now. Like a front flip's 100 points, a sideways spin's 120, a diagonal's 150. The specials sort of range from 220 to 300 depending on who you're playing as. I can say that the characters are Slash, Nancy, Jam, Linda, Tommy, and the unlockable Shinobin. Like I played I won a tournament of snowboard kids that I hosted myself for people that I knew.
That sounded so impressive until you ended it. If you just went, I won a tournament,
what about
oh my god, let's bow to this man. No, I hosted a one-man tournament that I hosted myself.
I think there was 8 people. And I had a whole like bracket and everything. But
I was
most
32, seven of them were under 9.
I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I think most of them were sort of like coerced into it, and I played a lot of the games, so it wasn't that hard.
Well, yeah, there's still good knowledge. It's still, you know,
knowledge.
Yeah.
Played so much, it's really good.
Okay. Last listener correspondence group of questions from Infinite Funky Granite. So we'll do some quick fire stuff. So, what's everyone's favorite controller right now?
That's difficult.
Tough.
Yeah, because it probably like historically, I love. Oh, look at that!
I fucking love that.
I don't know.
I will say. I genuinely...
That is a really nice looking controller. To be fair.
No, a lot of people hate it. It's sorry for those who don't know. It's the Forza Horizon controller.
I love
it's obviously for video.
controller.
For those who don't, I know it was divisive. I genuinely adore it. Chris is holding up the PlayStation 5 and the Switch Pro.
Yeah, Switch Pro. Yeah,
I love that Switch Pro controller.
It's so good. And
I do.
If I had if I had like a designed one, I think that'd probably be my favorite.
It's just something about the weight of it as well. Like the PlayStation 5 one is ever so slightly heavier, and also I find, I don't know if it's just me, but you know, like the D-pad, it sometimes can be a bit squeaky. And I think
I just
sometimes you
like
think it's
the haptics
haptic
and stuff on the DualSense.
Of course,
it's so good. But
that Switch
this
Pro
one as an overall
very
controller,
good.
I think
I think I'd
if they had a Nobody Saves the World
Really?
one,
Wait, what? Is there one?
No, if they did have one,
okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying there was one. So the DualSense
I'd have a
currently
horse all over that or something.
So DualSense for
slug.
Lyle. Are you saying Switch Pro? Chris, are you saying Switch Pro?
Switch Pro, yeah, I'll say Switch Pro. Sorry, yeah.
I think it's difficult because, like, I do think if form factor of the 361 was
good.
They're all good, to be fair.
They are.
The thing,
they're brilliant controllers.
The form factor for the Xbox Series X controller is there's something about that just feels.
Yeah, you just grab it.
It's just the most comfortable. But I would say that there's not really any bad ones at the moment.
No. They're just amazing.
They're all good, to be fair, which is what a wonderful time to be alive.
Yeah.
Favorite fighting game right now, and if he says Smash, I'm blocking, so I'll say Smash. I'm not playing any fighting games at the moment. I'm
not
shooting
either.
bad guys in Tiny Tina. And I don't tend to have fighting games to fall back on. My fallback game is FIFA, as you know, Adam. That said, I wouldn't ever mind. I often forget that Street Fighter 2 isn't on the SNES Online thing. So I keep thinking,
isn't it?
No,
that's
no, it isn't. It must be on everything else.
No, I know why. Because there was a Street Fighter collection, and it is available. I've got that on Switch, and it's like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, all of them. So I would imagine they don't want you to go and play that.
Yeah, but I keep thinking that I'll just have a bash on that. So I do like the odd fight, but I don't. So I'm not playing one at the moment. Is the answer? I don't know about everyone else.
I basically don't really play fighting games because I'm awful at them. Like it's just not a genre that I can do. I like Smash Bros. And I would play Smash Bros, but it's not something I regularly dip back into. I mean, historically, I've enjoyed like the Persona 4 fighting game Arena. I thought that was fun.
Oh yeah.
Dive Kick. I like Dive Kick.
It's great. Yeah.
What's Dive Kick?
It's a 2-button game.
It's
Dive and kick.
2 buttons.
Oh,
yeah.
Fair enough.
If I recall, there's not even any directional control with the stick, is it? It's just
dive
and kick.
No, you have to jump and
but like one character's so the dive or jump is higher than the others, and some, like when you kick, you'll bounce back a bit, so you kind of have to like jump kick to get close to them. It's really, really good. Yeah. It's an incredibly clever idea.
It's probably the best fighting game, realistically. Yeah. But, I mean, for someone who can't play fighting games, it's
certainly
pretty
a fighting game is the best fighting game.
I think it's great. If we ever do have a big God is a Geek get together, Dive kick. We need to do a dive
I think
kick
that'd be a
tournament.
fun one.
That would
Yeah.
be
I'd be up
fantastic.
for that.
Yeah, that would be great. So for me, like, fighting games are the genre I think I miss the most.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't want like any violence playing here, but like I am at the point now where if I was ever to be able to play a fighting games they're competitive, and a bit like first-person shooters, I prefer co-op stuff now because I can't compete. I don't have the reaction time I did. You know, I watch my kids play, and it's like, Jesus Christ, how you know, like I can't. I'm watching the screen like because they're moving the mouse so quickly, so sensitive, or the sticks, and I miss. Like I used to play with Sean, who writes for the site as well, Street Fighter 4. Which I think is the best modern Street Fighter, personally. And I got good at that game, and we used to basically play on 360 almost every night. Like it would be I'd have Ken Ryu or like Zangief, and he would have like Cammy and his. I think he had I can't remember now. I think he had a Zangief as well, and we would play each other every night, and it was always close. We're similar age, and it was like one night I would come out one match on top, and then the next 3 nights he'd beat me because he was better than me. I will say that. But like it was, I really missed that. But as for right now. I mean, I will say that I'm really pleased that if I wanted to, there's probably 10 newish ones I could go and get into because the genre has really come back. But there was a long period where it was not. It was. Are you playing Tekken or Street Fighter or maybe a Mortal Kombat? And I tried to get back into Street Fighter 5 and couldn't. I'm hopeful for 6, but I worry what that'll look like because they've kind of 4 evolved into 5's art style a bit and. Man, I'd be happy if they just remade Street Fighter 4 with the modern consoles with the same art style.
Yeah. No, I really liked 4 as well.
4 was great.
4 was the one where like I really started playing it again.
Yeah,
and
a jury
I
in it, didn't
dropped
it?
off at 5 because it sort of like released but didn't, right? That was the one that was sort of like
5 was released without a story mode and it was like but like 4 had Jury in it. I can't remember if it was Yuri or Jury, how you pronounce it, but like she was the new character I think for 4 along with Seth. I can't remember.
Seth's the boss one.
Yeah, and she was like his underling, and I loved playing as her because she had some really cool, like flashy moves that were easy to pull off and combo into. I miss that, but you know, only so much time in the day.
Indeed. Right, let's bring it home. What would you add to your favorite fast food burger to make it better?
Bacon.
So first off, I want to understand what your favorite fast food burger is, and then what you're going to add to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've misread this question.
Okay, I'll sneak in first then.
Go.
So, for my usual sort of favorite fast food burger, it's just from the standard place we'll order your standard greasy takeaway from, and I generally get I don't really go for anything too deluxe. I usually just get your standard beef burger. They do it with an egg, so I have an egg on it, and I get some bacon. And that's my standard. I think if I was going to improve it.
Take off the egg, surely.
Oh, it's got some cheese as well, actually. I've missed the cheese. If I was going to improve it, I'd probably add something I don't think they would probably do, but like fried onions. I bet that'd make it really nice. It's just a nice addition. Something like that.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound middle class, but like, I think something it has to be the right amount. If it's too much, it overpowers it. If it's not enough, you might as well not bother with it. But something that I think can improve most burgers is a bit of guacamole or guacamole. Just a bit.
I can see that.
Bit of avocado.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. I love guacamole. I
can't. No, I can't. I actually can't. I always have to. If I were ever, not that I ever have, but if I were ever to order it specifically, I would have to go guacamole because I can't not say guacamole.
I love a good guacamole.
Yes.
Like
I mean
guacamole. And what I find sometimes with places where you order it is it's just like bland avocado and not a good guacamole.
I think it's implied that if we're getting to make our burger better.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's why I don't tend to order it like in a burger. Is what I'm saying. I'm guessing your fast food favorite burger is the same as mine.
Yeah, I think so. But like, hang on, because Lyle had a question there before we.
I was going to say, would you be averse to, so that you don't get accidentally say the name of the game Guacamole, to just calling it Guac? Do you think you could pull off Guac?
I'd need a shirt like yours to pull off. No, I'm not even going to say
Guac, isn't it?
Guac.
I don't
say it.
I'd say Guac.
I'd say
like
guac,
cack.
but I think guac might be more.
That does sound middle class.
I mean, I am.
Phil
so
Tyndall in the chat
whatever.
says, "Don't worry, Adam, you could never sound middle class." I appreciate that. I'll always keep my working class accent roots. But I think if I tried to say it like you're suggesting, may I have some guac on my burger, please? I think I could sound. That's more.
I mean, yeah. If you want to sound like an absolute idiot, can I have some guac on my burger? Like that's literally what you say.
But you're not getting that in the type of place that Lyle's talking about. You're just not. You're not going to get guac on. I can laugh, actually. There you go. They just did it. Chris, what is your burger? The one that you recently got introduced to, the favourite one?
Yes.
Okay, so
that is
my current favourite burger.
The only other one for me, there's like a local van, literally a van in the village that I live in.
See, that's the sort of thing I think Lyle's referring to, like a
and they only operate like on a Friday and Saturday, and they just go around the village or neighbouring villages, and they have like a very small menu, and it's all made to order, and it's absolutely banging. And every now and then they'll have like a special one on. That or
sorry, only I found funny. A special one on.
Special one on. That or Five Guys. Five Guys burger is incredible. In terms of what I'd make it better, if there's not already copious amounts of cheese and bacon and caramelized onions.
So I don't have the onions, but I might go for that next time.
Yeah. I was surprised. The jalapenos in Five Guys, because it's literally just we're doing nothing else to this other than chopping up a jalapeno pepper and putting it on your burger. It's not like sometimes you get them and they're like in like brine or whatever. They're like pickled jalapenos. Yeah. So I was like, that's probably a bit too harsh of flavour for me. It's almost like having raw onion on your burger. I'd rather it was like a softer one. But no, I mean. Yeah, cheese, bacon, caramelized onions, barbecue sauce, burger sauce. There's loads of stuff you can whack on stuff, which would make it nice.
I think you can overdo it when it comes to burgers.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
so I doubt he'll ever listen to this, but a friend of mine who did do stuff for God is Geek a long time ago, Tony Windybank. If you are listening to this podcast somehow and you send me a text, because I remember him having a thing from a local thing, a place like Lyle's talking about, and it was called a Mega Burger. Okay, now I never ate it. And I don't know how he did, but it was the most impressive piece of culinary. I just can't remember fully what it was. There was so much that if I recall correctly, he could never actually hold it because it would slip apart.
It's like when you see all these like American like man versus food type things, and you're just like, I guess it must be more about the spectacle than the actual enjoyment of what you're eating.
Oh, he seemed to enjoy it. Like I say, Tony, tell me. I might text him tonight. Actually, I don't know why I'm asking him via a podcast. I could just literally do it now. But I will say my favourite current one, and I want to explain why. Because like all through, so when E3 was a thing, like it would be like all the UK journalists would be going to America for LA for the E3, and they'd be like, I'm gonna get Five Guys. I never did it because I've never been to America, and so I never had a Five Guys. And then they did start opening over here, but it was kind of like London locations, so it was like I'm not going to London for a burger. I'm not insane. And then they did open one near us, and I thought, well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this. And I'm like everything else that I have late, being a sort of country bumpkin down here. Like Nando's will be fine, and Taco Bell will be. Actually, I think Taco Bell's poor, but like, all these things that people rave about coming over from America, that I go and have them, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, it's all right. It's all right. Like, I just, hey, I'm not looking down on a Nando's. I like a Nando's, but it's totally not in the conversation for me when it comes to top places. And then we finally got to Five Guys, and I went for a gourmet hot dog because I was like, I don't know. Sometimes when you see the American burgers, they cook them so they're still pink, like you say from Man vs. Sweets. I was like, I don't know, because if they're doing that, I'm not going to have a good time. I can't eat stuff like that. It's with the eyes. So I finally sort of got the courage, and for me, it's a bacon and cheese burger. And the way they cook it, the bacon is kind of almost crispy, but not quite. And it is like I genuinely have to be careful I don't start dribbling, because like I have not. It is mouth-wateringly good.
Yeah, it was so good. Like I had one,
not cheap.
It was just no, it's not cheap. I had one just before Christmas, and I had the recommendation from you. I think I added a couple of extras, but I had the bacon.
My wife would normally have the onions as well, and I must admit, if you can get them caramelised and a bit crisp, I would be absolutely up for that.
Yeah.
God, I love Five Guys.
So yeah, Five Guys is good. It's not a McDonald's price, but it's really good.
No, it's not even close to McDonald's price. Like I would say this day and age where people are struggling, it's more than a luxury. It's more than a luxury, but they are something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then finally, games you're looking forward to this month. This should be quick.
Switch Sports.
There's not that many games
Nintendo
coming
Switch
out.
Sports for me.
That's probably. I looked at the God is a Geek games list for April because I was like, what is still coming out? And I was like, it's probably that. To be honest, it's probably.
I think that's the big one. I think there's the Stanley Parable remaster.
Okay, so I've played that, so I've not the not the remaster. I mean the original.
I see. Yeah, I think they're adding something to it. So I mean, I loved the original, and I played it once, like way back when it first came out. So I mean, maybe be keen to play that again. If we could stretch this month to being like the next month in time, the start of next month has Eiyuden Chronicles Rising, the one I talked about a few pods ago. So that'd be one too. But I mean, this month's quite dry.
Just to sort of try and not just say Switch Sports, because I figured we all probably would. I am looking forward to the Rogue Legacy 2's sort of 1.0. Rogue Legacy 2's
the other one as well,
I didn't put it in the chat this week, but I did play some of the current build, not the final build. I'm hoping we'll get that soon. Final build, release build. I haven't played it since it first hit early access. I'm very impressed with that game currently, so I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I believe it is coming to more than... It's not just PC, is it? I think it's Xbox as well. And again, wow, if that was on Switch. Come to Switch, that game.
I know, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to Nintendo Switch Sports, and I'm really looking forward to Rogue Legacy 2. And to be honest with you, Salt and Sacrifice in the beginning of May, but we'll see.
It might just be PC,
Okay, that's a shame. I thought it was coming to something else as well, but I might have imagined it. Oh well, there you go. That's it though. That's it for a podcast this week. Once again, thank you to the people in the chat. Lots of it there. You missed out actually if you didn't join the chat this week because there's some good bits. There's good stuff in there. Like Mick saying, as a closet fairy, he would eat Mewtwo for 2 hours. This is a very strange specification of time, but nonetheless, thank you to Chris and Lyle for being here this week. Appreciate it as always. We're trying to be regular. It's on me, totally on me. So don't have a go at any other guys. But we have like a general Discord as well. We will speak in there. You don't have to, be only a patron. There is like a general God is a Geek Discord as well. Mostly it just sort of posts links to stuff that's on the site because we're all chatting in patrons. But we won't ignore you. So just come and have a look. I'll put the link in the YouTube. The gubbins down the bottom somewhere. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. All that usual stuff, and go over to godisageek.com and check out some of the awesome content there. There's been some good news today, actually, as I speak. There's been some interesting stuff. Yeah. Did you know a new Sonic game is in Roblox?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we will speak to you next week, or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.